I wanted to know how, for you, how did violence ruin your life? And then I can, if you want me to share my how it's ruined,
Yeah,
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 and how you know we've had some really interesting conversations, and I don't want you to censor yourself. I put any trigger warnings at the beginning of the video,
yeah, of
so
course.
please speak freely. Yeah,
Yeah, of course. No, thank you for giving me that bit of background there and just celebrating Hazel. It's astonishing these people around us that help us grow and realize that actually, this is we're on the right path, we're doing these right things, we're moving in the right directions. I think for me personally, the violence took place from not having a masculine role model around at a young age. I was violated from the beginning there, and that hurt. Now, you were saying about triggering, that triggers me right now. That triggers me for all those young men out there that don't have that right now. That hurts me now.
yeah,
I'm hurt right now.
yeah,
My body's feeling like it did then. I'm not good enough.
yeah,
I'm lost.
yeah,
How do I protect myself healthily? How
yeah,
do I protect myself? How do I articulate myself to others so that I've got good boundaries, bodily, so physical, mental, emotional, spiritual boundaries? And that for me has never changed. I've met some amazing characters along the way that helped and guided me, and mostly in books. You're right, it's hard to find that, man.
yeah,
And I think that part of my journey is to be working towards being accountable for that loss, for that grief. Because it's an honor to be a man, it's a privilege. It has a huge potential in it. It needs to be rewritten. And we need to change the story of masculine. I think when I'm violated physically, it was sexual. And you don't know as a kid, do you? You don't know. You don't know. You just don't know. But that's not okay because no one taught you body boundaries. And that lesson has helped me as a father to give my children body boundaries and to be aware of that sacredness.
yeah,
And I was violated sexually first, physically. With regards to emotional violence, that was constant. I wasn't allowed to express my beingness. We're still talk. Mate, we're talking even up to yesterday, being stuck in how to emotionally articulate myself, even though I've done a lot to work on self. It's not an easy thing to do as a man. But pre 7 year old, pre teen, pre 21 year old, pre 20s, pre 30, violated emotionally, been stuck because we weren't honored in that way to say, right, as a man, as a boy, this is what happens. We go through these ceremonies, we go through these changes. None of that was ever on offer. And that's the biggest violation as well, that we're uneducated to know what it feels like to move through these stages. And so, emotionally, being a very sensitive child, but also introduced to violence through whether it was through the soccer and the football stuff, whether it's through just the northeast and its abundance of toughness, and you had to work really hard for everything. Everything was hard to get, and that sense of difference. I didn't fit into that environment. I wasn't like that. I was this kid that wanted to be colorful, playful and be with everyone. There was this, a lot of racial tension around. There was a lot of difference, like I said, that wasn't accepted by a lot of people. But I didn't listen to any of that. So my emotions were violated from that angle as well. I wasn't actually allowed to play with the people maybe I wanted to play with. And if they happen to be better, we're talking they. I mean, this is how conditioned I am. We're talking about human beings here. We're talking about beingness. We're not talking about bloody skin color. We're just talking about people. When you played with people that from a different part of Mother Earth, so what? And if they were better than you, great. I was happy, because usually I'd get better at something if someone was better. So I always saw it as a bonus. But my family member, and I'm not naming because I just don't, I feel it's very dishonorable, and that person can't actually be here in this and answer for it. But that person would literally annihilate that person with powerful, powerful energy. I mean, kill. Like literally, that person needed psychological help. Psychological help. I'm talking about a personality disorder, and living around someone with a personality disorder is scary. And so my emotional, physical, and spiritual and mental world was always violated. And it still is this present day by certain individuals. Certainly not sexually, obviously, because I'm now a man and I'm able to boundary that. And also my spiritual self, I'm doing my work, and I know to a degree where I'm heading, what my research needs to be, what I'm opening up to, what I'm working on. But I think the violence that was seen as a young kid, teenage lives, kids being hospitalized, kids killing themselves, kids getting high on drugs, kids killing themselves on drugs, people going to prison, and all that being quite normal. It was never my bag, and it was never comfortable with me. But you're right, out of all of that, I molded into something that spoke out its love and its lack of being able to be itself by being actually violent to other people. And I was so sexualized, it's ridiculous, because I was sexualized so young, and I just thought that was normal. So I went out in the world, losing your virginity at 13, high on drugs at 11 and 12. I mean, that is not okay. That's not okay.
Wow.
That's how violated I was. I was a very, very confused and stuck individual. And I think I still am. I'm still working on it. I'm still open to it.
Let's talk about that. First, I want to honor you and reflect back to you how extraordinary you are, how incredible you are for speaking your truth. Not many men do that. And thank you for not censoring yourself. Thank you for being so open on such a highly sensitive topic.
Yeah, I bow to you, I praise you for holding space for this, and I hear you.
Yeah, and my podcast isn't just about hearing what happened to you. I want to talk about, like you and how I've done before, I want to talk about how do we cure this, right? And you mentioned boundaries, and you then, because your boundaries were broken from the inside out and outside in, completely had your spirit broken. That is then, as you said, when you go to women, you don't respect their boundaries.
100%.
Yeah. And as you said, it's not just your sexual boundaries, it's the violence, which is a mental as well as physical.
Yeah.
and the emotional abuse.
Yeah.
So that coupled with all the other abuse um, creates this kind of void where we hide our hearts, and we put ourselves in a position where we either protect our hearts or we die.
Yeah. Feels right.
Yeah, I'm just a bit taken back by that. Oh,
Me too. I think it feels right to say that.
yeah.